Hello, welcome back to Phoenix Wright, Justice for All. It's me, A. Proustian, and I am still trying to figure out what the heck is still inside the guitar case. And I had done my best thought last time, which was something about the suicide note, because I thought that was why Adrian Andrews might have cared. But in retrospect, she didn't open it. That was the whole point with the wine glass, right? Was that she did not open the case. Only Juan Corrida did. So, if I think about this, Juan Corrida opened the guitar case, but it doesn't have the bright red guitar in it. So he was using the guitar case to smuggle something else in? Could he... Could he have been? But this is right after the murder. He couldn't have smuggled in. I guess I'm thinking about this because Matt Ongard didn't know about this, right? He had no idea. So did Juan smuggle in the costume so that he could pretend to be the Nickel Samurai to confess something? And then somebody used the costume to set Matt up to be framed for the murder? That feels like the kind of thing that might happen in one of these plots. How would I go? So what would I say? Would it be this, maybe the Nickel Samurai? To say he has the costume in there? I don't know. I'll try it. Ooh, I'm making progress here. Okay. This is a photograph. Yes, but what's important is what's in that picture, Your Honor. Exactly. Thank you, Phoenix. In this picture? It doesn't take a genius to see what I mean. What I'm proposing is... Oh, Edgeworth's about to interrupt here. No? Nah, he gets to say it. Inside the guitar case was the Nickel Samurai, the hero's very own costume. Exactly, because there's no way somebody else could have been wearing the costume at the same time Matt was napping in his, unless they had a separate costume. What? Because we know there had to have been somebody else, because somebody else was in the costume who was short. Alright. Mr. Wright, explain yourself. Right, are you saying that the witness opened the guitar case to take out a costume? What insane point would there be to doing something like that? And that insane point would be to wear the costume, of course. Miss Andrews put it on to hide her identity so she can make her escape. After all, you couldn't let anyone see you leave, could you, Miss Andrews? Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I refuse to accept your theory. Do you have anything to support such a preposterous idea? Just outside the door was an investigative photographer who was starving for a big scoop. And in the end, she managed to get this shot, correct? You mean this photo? Yeah, oh, she would have been all over it, actually, if Andrews had walked out. That is very true. Order! Order! Looks like we've wandered into quite another mess again, haven't we? Nice job, Phoenix. Well, you know my strategy. Speak first, think later. Yeah, that's how I have to keep restarting. Okay. So the real murderer was hiding inside a costume. Wait 1 second, Your Honor. The Nickel Samurai's costume would have been, Mr. Matt Ongard's? Why would something of the defendant's be in the victim's room? And inside the guitar case, of all places? True. That is a little baffling. Mr. Wright, the court would like to hear your thoughts. What was this nickel samurai costume doing inside the guitar case? I think it was a spare costume, because Matt was wearing his. Mr. Ungard did not take his costume off during the break period. Right? In that case, the costume we were talking about was a spare one. What? Then, are you saying that on the night of the murder, there were 2 nickel samurai costumes at the Gatewater Hotel? Yes, that is what we're saying. Yes, that is what I am saying. How do you explain the costume that was inside the guitar case? I think he was going to do the confession. It would mean that the victim himself had brought the spare to the ceremony on purpose. But why? The victim, Mr. Kurita, was the Jammin' Ninja. Why would he secretly bring the Nickel Samurai's spare costume with him? What could be the reason behind such a peculiar act? Oh, I'm on top of things here. Oh no, poor Phoenix, he doesn't know. And therein lies the sticking point. What are you mumbling to yourself about now? Have you just been rambling all this time without any sense of inner monologue? Huh? No, I just... Mr. Wright, please explain yourself. Why do you think the victim had this Nickel Samurai spare costume? Phoenix, are you sure you can explain this one? I actually feel pretty good about this. Think carefully before you answer, and then answer with gusto. I believe in you. Hell yeah, let's do it. Alright, this is what I think. The reason the victim brought the Nickel Samurai spare costume to the hotel was... the press conference. What is this? On the night of the murder, after the stage show, the Nickel Samurai was going to hold a special press conference. A press conference? Yes, the Nickel Samurai was supposed to confess something at this conference. I heard about this as well. For once, you're not making something up, right? Yeah, but what struck me as strange was that Mr. Ongard himself said he had no idea he was supposed to be holding a press conference that night. Yeah. What's up with that, Andrews? But how can that be? The way I see it, that can mean only one thing. The conference was set up by none other than the victim, Mr. Juan Kurita himself. The victim? Yes. The spare Nickel Samurai costume was prepared for the very conference. Mr. Kurita was going to hold the conference as the Nickel Samurai. He was going to dress up as the Nickel Samurai and hold a conference? Yeah, clearly he was trying to ruin the Nickel Samurai's reputation somehow. But why would the victim do such a thing? Because of their rivalry. That's something I don't quite know yet. However, what I'm concerned with right now is what he intended to reveal at that conference. The Nickel Samurai was going to confess something. And by confess, I'd wager he was going to reveal something about himself, quote-unquote. Which means that Juan Kurita, posing as the Nickel Samurai, was going to speak about Matt Ongard. Yes, I guess that is what it would mean. But if that's the case, that's not a confession. That's public disclosure. Ms. Andrews? I can see why you are pros at what you do. Pardon me? Yes, just as you say, the press conference was set up by Juan. Ms. Andrews, please offer us an explanation for this. I was the one he asked to help set it up. And the person who prepared the second costume for him, that was also me. Oh, she knew about it. That's a good point. That makes it even more likely that she's the murderer. She really does seem to tick all the boxes now. You? Juan had bet everything on the Jammin' Ninja this year. And if he lost the Grand Prix, he was gonna make sure Matt was going down with him. That's what he thought, anyway. He was going to ruin him, huh? It looked like somehow Juan had in his hands a secret so powerful that it would destroy Matt's acting career had it been revealed. What? Well, that's going to be awkward, because if we have to find out what that secret is... Uh-oh. And do you know what the secret of Mr. Onguard's is, Ms. Andrews? You know, it's actually interesting that they assumed that Karita was going to tell the truth and not just make something up. That's something only Juan knew. I don't know what it is. Ah, I see. I've probably been coming off quite suspicious to everyone. That's to be expected. I've been trying to protect Matt, after all. Oh, interesting. This is an interesting tack to take. Protect Mr. Onguard? And yet again, another strange bit of truth comes to light, it seems. Ms. Andrews, if you could, please tell us the truth about your behavior. Yes, Your Honor. I understand. Protecting Matt. I don't know if I believe her or not. Yeah, I don't think I believe her. From the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. Matt had to kill Juan no matter what, and he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course, the button and the knife. But I'm Matt's manager, so I felt that I had to protect him. Still doesn't account for everything. Well, I am the logical type. We're finally seeing her true self. She's more nervous than a scared rabbit. If the defense can find no fault with this testimony, I'm ready to make a ruling. Please keep that in mind as you cross-examine, Mr. Wright. Of course, of course. Looks like somehow everything has swung to the opposite end of the scale again. Just means I have to put my weight into this and turn her logic upside down. Yeah, I am officially convinced, given that testimony, that she did it. Like, that's... yeah. This feels like such bullshit. Okay, protecting Matt. Okay, from the moment saw the crime scene, feeling Matt was the murderer. Would you say that was your intuition speaking to you? And don't confuse my methods of reasoning with your own. Ouch. Irk. If you want to prove that someone did something, you need 3 things. 3 things? A motive, an opportunity to commit the crime, and finally, decisive evidence. And if you think these 3 things through, the answer becomes quite clear. Interesting, I'm really curious what she's going to posit as Matt's motive. Because that's, I guess... No, I guess we do know, because now that we know Juan was trying to ruin Matt at the conference, that could be motive? You should have already known that, Phoenix. They didn't teach us that in school. At least not from what I remember. Do you remember anything from law school, Phoenix? May I continue now? Matt had to kill Juan no matter what. So would you say this need came from the press conference? Yes. Do you know why Juan chose that event in that hotel for the conference? I do think, actually thinking about this, Matt didn't even know about the conference. At least he told us he didn't know. Do we know why Juan chose that event in that hotel for the conference? I didn't know he chose it. Oh no, for the press conference, I mean. Because that's when he could cause the most damage to the public's beloved Matt Onguard. And you knew of this plan, didn't you, Ms. Andrews? Yes, because I was the one who set up the conference and prepared the costume. But I'm sure Mr. Onguard himself didn't know anything about the press conference. Right? Oh, really? Can you show me any proof that he didn't know about the press conference? Oh, Trixie. You can't prove, like, that's hard to prove, negatives like that. He said he didn't. That's how we know, but I guess he could have lied, but I don't think he did. I think she's lying. Anyway, the important thing here is that this information was not in your testimony. Yes, I agree. Miss Andrews, please correct your testimony, if you please. Grasping at straws now, are we, Mr. Wright? I know what his motive was, but I don't have any way to prove I'm right. Has Mr. Ongard done something to hurt or betray you personally? I mean, she's betrayed him with this, and then with setting up the conference, and then saying she turned around and is trying to protect him for being exposed as a murderer is pretty, I don't know, something. Why do you ask? You were the one who helped Mr. Kurita with his press conference. That event was supposed to bring down Mr. Ongard, yet you still helped out. Yeah, wouldn't that hurt her career too? The person on trial right now is Mr. Ongard, right? What the witness was thinking, helping the victim with his plan, it's none of our concern. In any case, this means the defendant had a motive to kill. Why do I keep doing this to myself? I don't know, I think that was an important point to make. He didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. This is his opportunity, right? Didn't you already testify earlier that Mr. Ongard was taking a nap in his room? Are you telling me now that, too, was a lie so you could cover for Mr. Ongard? I'm not telling you anything of the sort. When I went to get him for the show, he honestly was sleeping. However, as to whether he was sleeping the entire time, that I cannot say. I was too busy setting up the stage at the time. Keep trying, but I can find no flaws with what Ms. Andrews has said. Can't say the same for some people here in this courtroom, however. Phoenix, Wright. Judge is glaring straight at Mia. Oh, interesting. I was gonna say, why is he glaring at her? He's glaring at you, smart guy. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course, the button and the knife. You can hardly call the knife decisive evidence. The fingerprints on the knife could very well be a clever camouflage. Then, what about the button? The button? It's clear from the crime scene that the victim and his murderer fought. And during the fight, the killer ripped the button from the Jammin' Ninja's costume. I don't think that's clear. That could have been done afterwards. If he'd been strangled, then you could knock stuff around and rip a button off. Like, that's not hard. You're talking about this button, correct? That button was found in the pleats of Matt's hakama, isn't that correct? I would think that makes it very decisive evidence. Irk. Looks like you were outfoxed again, Mr. Wright. Anyway, the knife doesn't prove a thing. Please fix your testimony. You can't stand the sight of a man who can't gracefully accept his defeat. Oh, thank goodness Mia can still look at me. With an icy stare, yes. Ms. Andrews, for Mr. Wright's sake, please add this information to your testimony. Okay. The button was torn off of Juan during his fight with Matt. How do you know that? Well, the ends of the threads on the button and the costume were matched up. They were found to fit together perfectly, or so I heard. I've heard that before too. But why would Ms. Andrews know about this case down to such a fine detail? And don't look at me like that, just because I'm prepared and you are not. I thought I had her this time for sure. If there's anything to trip her up on, it has to be here. But where and what? That's a good question. I'm Matt's manager, so I felt I had to protect him. But what you really did was stab the guy in the back, didn't you? And at the worst possible time. Who's to say she really stabbed the guy in the back, as you put it? This witness could have disclosed things about Mr. Ongard at any time. Why then would she wait until there was a large audience before doing so? It's the same reason why Mr. Kurita planned such an elaborate conference. Ms. Andrew wanted to cause Mr. Ongard as much damage as she possibly could. I think that's a fair read of the situation. This witness bears ill will towards the defendant. This isn't the Phoenix Wright Wax Philosophical Power Hour. What would that even look like? And please, stop slandering the witness. As I expected, Ms. Andrews' testimony seems pretty solid. Really? Because to me it sounded a little wishy-washy. Wishy-washy? Well, I guess we'll see if I press a little more. You should know this by now, but you'll need strong, decisive evidence to make her talk. Got it, Chief. Gonna pin you down this time, Ms. Andrews. Am I? What am I missing? Okay, let me let me review what I've got here. This article. The map. I don't see how this helps. Guitar case, the wine glass with tomato juice. I still think is a weird thing to put in a wine glass, but okay. I mean, there's the bottle of tomato juice, I suppose. Seems pretty full still? I don't know. I think what's still strange to me is everybody harps on the knife, but like he was strangled and then stabbed. I don't know. Oh, I don't know. I still think this was her. I don't know what in the world to present her when, though. Review what she says. I know his motive. I don't have any way to prove I'm right. He didn't have an alibi. The button was torn off one with this fight with Matt. That's not true. Right, because wasn't it, wasn't he stabbed after he was strangled? So, but he's kind of stabbed where the button was. Where'd the blood come from? I guess I'm not clear on that, and I don't know if that's what I'm supposed to worry about. Okay, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna save first. Okay, let's try presenting this crime scene photo. Or maybe the button? Try the crime scene photo first. I'm not confident. God damn it. Nope, that's wrong. Okay. So what if I do present the button? Nope. Okay. I'm stuck enough that I'm gonna check the hint site. Okay. I was completely right. I was right that this is where I present something. I was right that it was the button. I was right that it was the strangled, then stabbed. What I forgot about is the autopsy report. This is the part that says that. Strangled, then stabbed. Okay, so I had everything right except for which piece of evidence was the right thing. That makes me feel better. Alright, let's present those. This is the victim's autopsy report. It clearly states that the cause of death was strangulation by a scarf. Strangulation? The knife stab to the victim was done after the victim had already died. And what does that mean? Well, let's examine the evidence. This button has the victim's blood on it. Which would mean that it was ripped off the costume when? After he was stabbed. Yeah, after the knife was stabbed into the victim. Exactly, which means it's impossible that this victim was torn off during the victim's final struggle. Because the victim was strangled to death in that fight. Ah! That's right, Ms. Andrews. The thing, if she was there and she did it, she would know that. There is no way this button was ripped off during the struggle. This button was consciously pulled off of the victim's already dead body. And that means it was used to frame him. Order, order, what is the meaning? What is the meaning of this, Wright? So what if the button was torn off the body and after the victim had already died? What does that change? Let me ask you one simple question, Mr. Edgeworth. Why was the button torn off? What purpose did that serve? Right, to frame Matt. What purpose? We now know this button was not torn off during the fight. So the murderer took the time and effort to purposely rip this from the victim's body. That would mean that the murderer had something in mind, wouldn't it? Yeah, and with the knife that had the fingerprints on it. Mr. Wright, does this mean you know what the murderer wanted to do with the button? What was it? To pin the crime on guard. I feel good about this. There's only one logical reason for doing something like that. It was to pin the crime on Mr. On Guard. Edgeworth doesn't look happy about it. Right? There's no way anyone would put a bloody button in their own pants. That's right. Mr. On Guard was set up. By the real killer, of course. Hell yeah. Here we go. And the real murderer is... Well, Mr. Wright? Who in the world is the real killer, then? Finally. I can't believe I managed to bring this trial all the way up to this point. Phoenix, you can't let your guard down yet. Not until the very end. The real killer, the person who planned to frame Mr. On Guard is... Well, it's gotta be Adrian Andrews. Sorry about this, lady. Ms. Adrian Andrews. I choose you. What is this, Pokemon? You are Mr. Kurita's killer. What? Order, order, order. Mr. Wright. This is a very grave matter. Do you have any evidence that supports your charge? Any evidence? I was gonna say, like, all of it. All of the evidence points to Ms. Andrews. How preposterous. You can't stick any of that on me. I can't, can I? Would you care to test me? Then what about this knife? The knife was used to stab the victim after he'd already been strangled to death. It was used to throw suspicion onto Mr. On Guard, naturally. Although I don't quite know how she managed to have it have not her fingerprints, but also no glove smears. It's kind of impressive. A knife covered in the defendant's fingerprints could only be taken from his room. And the only one who had dinner with him and knew which knife to take was you. Oh, that's true. Otherwise, it's not clear if it would be hers or his, because you're not going around with your own fingerprint dusting kit. That's clever. I love how her glasses exploded. She has a new pair. I love it so much. Then, what about the button that was found in Matt's hakama? button was removed from the victim's body after he had already died. The only people who could have done so was the person who found his body, or the killer. However, if Mr. Angard was the real killer, there's no way he would have put such incriminating evidence in his own hakama. The only person who could have put this button into Mr. Angard's hakama is the person who went to wake him from his nap, which is you, yet again, Ms. Andrews. I see. What about the empty guitar case? It's also another piece of evidence that incriminates Ms. Andrews. That costume was used to hide the real killer's identity as they fled the crime scene. Now, who could have known that there was just such a costume inside the guitar case? It could only have been the person who prepared the costume for the victim. And that person is you, Ms. Adrian Andrews. No, You know what? We don't even know that this press conference was Juan Carita's idea. It could have been her idea. She could have told him that she had something incriminating about Angard that she would give him. And then been like, oh yeah, I'll go meet you and give it to you before this press conference or something, you know? No, But Ms. Andrews' fingerprints were nowhere to be found on the guitar case. And it was you who proved that she was not wearing gloves at the time. Good point. That's right. That's because she did not intend on leaving any prints. If anyone had found out that she had touched the case, they would have asked her why. So to avoid leaving any prints, she used a towel or something else to open it. Right? But the glass of tomato juice is a different story. Ms. Andrews purposefully left her fingerprints on the glass to show that, yes, indeed, she was the classic dazed discoverer of a dead body. Ah! And to top it all off, there's this photo. A photo of the killer as they exited the scene of the crime. No reasonable person on Earth can believe this nickel samurai is Mr. Angard. He would be much too short for his own costume if it was him. Speaking of how tall people are, Miss Andrews, you're also kind of short in stature, are you not? Please, stop. Well, how about it, Miss Andrews? I've got her this time. Ooh, maybe. Is she gonna pull something out? It's possible. Like, every time Phoenix thinks I've got them now, Edgeworth says, objection, and has something really clever to say. Ms. Andrews? I refuse to testify. What was that? There's a law. It says I can't be forced to testify about something if it can incriminate me. Well, yes. You're absolutely correct, Ms. Andrews. The law does provide us with a way to avoid self-incrimination by allowing a witness to not testify if the testimony can cause damage to themselves. What? Phoenix is like, what have I been doing all this time? My entire legal everything revolves around self-incrimination by witnesses. It's my only play. Pleading the fifth is not something most people would think to do on the spot. Actually, thinking back to yesterday in Mr. Angard's room, Adrian Andrews. Yes? Think hard about what we just discussed. Understood? Oh, Von Karma knew. Alright. Ha. That's it. That's when Francisca planted this idea into her head. She must have told Ms. Andrews to not testify if things looked bad. Did a good job proving everything up to this point, Phoenix. There's still one thing you haven't done. Something I haven't done? Yeah, establish your motive. What's wrong, right? Are you finished already? Run out of evidence? What's so humorous, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm sure you realize this as well, Your Honor. But everything the good lawyer here has proven up to this point is meaningless. What? Everything you've proven is circumstantial. Circumstantial? Yes, circumstantial. You have yet to provide a single piece of definitive proof. Proof that Ms. Andrews did, in fact, harbor a wish to murder Mr. Kurita. Yeah, he had to bring up the motive. But we do have a motive. Ms. Andrews, did you want to kill Mr. Kurita? I believe this may lead me to incriminating myself, so I will abstain from answering. But Ms. Andrews, if you do that, it would be the same as admitting your guilt, don't you think? Maybe so, or maybe not. There's nothing to prove it either way. Besides, you don't even know what crime I would be guilty of due to my silence. No, she's taking that defiant attitude again. Mia, what should we do? Somehow we've landed in the worst possible situation. I think we've reached a certain conclusion at this point in time. Ms. Adrian Andrews has refused to testify. Therefore, the other guy has to be guilty. Anyways, and the defense's theory that she's the actual murderer has not been fully substantiated with solid definitive proof. But that's not true. In this situation, there's only one thing this court can do, and that is to declare a recess. Fair play. Recess? I request that both the prosecution and the defense look further into this matter. And at tomorrow's trial... Oh no, tomorrow? We don't have a tomorrow. If we don't get a not guilty verdict today, then... Please wait, Your Honor. That's not necessary. The trial... Please continue the trial. What are you sweating for? Yeah, I don't think Edgeworth does know about Maya. Your client's getting one more day to live, isn't he? That's not it. This isn't about that. Edgeworth, I know you know who the real killer is. Please, let the trial continue. If I don't get the verdict, then Maya... Huh? Yeah, he doesn't know. Because, I don't know, we didn't tell him? But it's impossible to continue as long as the witness refuses to testify. Now then, this court is... It's not impossible for this trial to continue. He realizes something's up. Mr. Edgeworth, what are you... It's true Miss Andrews holds the right against self-incrimination. However, if the topic of conversation were something unrelated to whatever she may be guilty of, then she has no right to withhold testimony. Yes, that is very true, but... Actually, there's one little thing that I'm curious about. The suicide. I didn't mean to say that in, like, such an excited manner. Oh, goddamn. Miss Andrews. When you found the victim's dead body, you poured yourself a glass of juice. Oh, going in a totally different direction. Okay, that's fine. Yes, and? I can't help but think how unnatural that is. Usually when one finds a body, they're shaken up, not stirring a glass of juice. So my actions were unusual, but I've already... Before you speak, I want to state that if you have a reason behind your actions, I would like you to testify to that effect. Testify? Your Honor, I would like to request that the witness testify again, as to what happened when she first discovered the victim's body. Whatever we find out in this testimony should in no way implicate the witness. Can you really make that argument? Alright. I don't know what it is about Edgeworth today, but I can't get a good read off of him. Is he friend or foe? I just don't know. I mean, I see this is why people ship him and Phoenix, right? Like, there's clearly something there. And I think he's picked up on, at the very least, he has picked up on the fact that Phoenix desperately needs this trial done today and not tomorrow. Okay, the court acknowledges the prosecution's request. Ms. Andrews, if you please. Okay, when I found the body. That glass of juice, I didn't really pour it for myself. I was surprised when I walked into the room and saw it in that messy state. And Juan, he was sitting slumped over and tired looking in the corner. When I saw him sitting like that, the thought he was dead didn't cross my mind. To be honest, I thought he had just fainted or something, so I went to pour him some juice. When I realized that he was dead, that's when I knocked the flower vase over. Interesting. So you pour that glass of juice for the victim. Why didn't you say so in your earlier testimony? Also, why is this where Edgeworth decided to poke at the testimony in general? Like, clearly he had to find something that seemed non-self-incriminating, but that he thinks actually is incriminating? Why the glass of juice, though? I don't know. Edgeworth is smarter than me, I think. I didn't think I needed to include something so trivial. Phoenix, please be careful here. If you can't find anything wrong with this testimony, then there's nothing left. I know. Edgeworth, what the heck is going on in that brain of yours, right? That's my question. He has something in mind. It's up to us to find it. Oh, boy. Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. When I found the body, glass of juice, didn't really pour it for myself. But there wasn't anyone else in the room, right? Of course not. Then who did you pour it for? Mr. Wright, there's a rhyme and reason for everything. Can you wait just a little longer for it to be revealed to you? In other words, Wright, be quiet and listen. Precisely. I couldn't have said it better myself. Alright. I was surprised when I walked into the room, saw it in that messy state. So it was a mess? Are you sure it wasn't messy because of your fight with Mr. Kurita? Yeah, he's not gonna let that slide. I understand your frustrations at not being able to prove your theory. However, before you go accusing people of crimes, go find yourself some evidence. And then, what did you see next, witness? Juan, he was sitting slumped over and tired looking in the corner. Slumped over? Yes, he was just sitting there, with his head tilted forward, eyes closed. He really looked like he was sleeping. Is it just me, or did that right there sound a little odd? Okay, so that's gonna be a key point. When I saw him sitting like that, the thought he was dead didn't cross my mind. Then what did cross your mind? I thought maybe he had smashed everything up in anger because he lost the Grand Prix, and then felt tired after his rampage, so he decided to take a nap. Anyways, that's what I thought. I see, so you didn't think he was dead at all. I thought he had just fainted or something, so I went to pour him some juice. Thought he fainted? Well, I thought he was asleep at first. But then the room was in such a messy state. I thought maybe he had gotten into a fight with someone. And that's when you went to pour the glass of juice? Yes, he always has a hard time waking up. So Juan always has a glass of tomato juice to drink. I see. And after that, what happened next? When I realized he was dead, that's when I knocked the flower vase over. And how did you come to realize that he was, in fact, dead? I shook him over and over, but I never got a response. So I set the glass down on the dresser and tried to take his pulse. Did she not notice the knife? I was shocked and staggered backward and knocked the flower vase over. So that's what happened. Yes. This is what it all comes down to. Huh? This is the absolute end for both sides, and Adrian is letting her guard down. Yeah, because how did she take his pulse while holding the glass? I guess that's possible, but weird. Because if she knocked the flower vase over, she had to do that while holding the glass and then set the glass down. Phoenix, now is our best chance yet to kill the prosecution's case. Isn't that a bit harsh? Miss Andrews, will you tell us the truth this time? Okay. So what do I do then? Surprise, saw it in a messy state. One, he was sitting slumped over and tired looking in the corner. Let me look at the picture of the crime scene. I guess that could seem... But the knife was sticking out of him. I'll try presenting that here then. Nope. That's not it. Saw it in the messy state. I just feel like the knife is important. Now do I present the photo? Hey, this seems good. So you honestly didn't think he was dead when you found him? No, not at all. He had a knife sticking out of him, lady. Even though this is what you saw when you discovered the body? Ah! What is the meaning of this? Isn't it obvious, Your Honor? There's a knife sticking straight out of Mr. Carita's chest. Anyone who saw this scene would have immediately thought there was a dead man. That's, well, you see... I doubt a single person in the world would mistake this for someone who fainted, and then so nonchalantly go pour something to drink. Your point is? Miss Andrews, your testimony just now, it was all one giant lie. And your lie has proven one thing very clearly, that you are the real killer. No! Heck yeah, we did it. Looks like the defense has somehow brought the ugly truth to light. The defendant, Mr. Matt Ongard, is not guilty after all. But that's impossible. You're wrong. Miss Andrews, try to have some composure. It wasn't me. It wasn't me, I tell you. It was Matt, I swear it. He's the one who killed Juan. But you were the one who refused to testify. And your reason for not doing so was that you might end up incriminating yourself? That's because... Miss Andrews, I will give you one last chance. Hey, finally, it's somebody else's one last chance. What exactly are you hiding that may incriminate you? I refuse to testify. Then there's no need for this court to continue any further. Mr. Matt Ongard's innocence has been clearly demonstrated. Is it over? Have we found the truth at last? What's wrong, Phoenix? Usually the real killer confesses his or her guilt. And now that I think about it, this is the first time someone hasn't. Now then, I would like to hand down my verdict for Mr. Matt Onguard.
Objection!
Who objected? Yep. Your Honor. The prosecution feels it would be premature to pass down a verdict at this time. God damn it, Edgeworth. What? The reason is quite simple. This witness has yet to speak the absolute real truth. The absolute real truth? What are you... Witness, don't you understand yet? Huh? I don't know who planted this silly idea in your head. Francisca did. But as long as you protect yourself through your silence, Matt Onguard will go free. And in his place, you will become the guilty party. That's a lie? I don't believe you. What? I was told if I spoke, then it would be all over, and Matt would never be declared guilty. Interesting. Was that Francisca, or... Because we still don't know the connection to the kidnapper. There's still that. What the heck is that? What in the world is she talking about? Has she lost it? I can't speak about it. I'm too scared. It's Francisca von Karma. Okay. Well, I don't think she's the kidnapper. Huh? Don't you remember, Phoenix? Ms. Andrews lives by grouping tightly onto the words of another. Because she doesn't have the strength to believe in herself. Then, right now, Ms. Andrews is... Yesterday, she was tossed a lifesaver by Ms. von Karma. Don't say a word, no matter what happens. If you do, Matt Onguard will be acquitted. Ms. Andrews undyingly believes in those words right now and is clinging on to them. What should we do? This is the first time I've ever come across anything like this. But Ms. Andrews has to be the killer, right? All we have to do now is get our not guilty. That's my only priority. Is it, Phoenix? Or is it finding the truth? I feel like there's something going on here. Something deeper. Because of the kidnapping. Without Maya being kidnapped, all of this is like typical murder, and then she would be like confessing and it would be over, and that would feel like the other cases. But because of that, there's this extra layer of people at work doing something for reasons we don't know that I think is really interesting and really throws a wrench into this. Alright, well, the thing is, I am out of time, so I'm gonna have to stop here and then continue this the next time and see where it leads us. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you then. Bye!